is how to stop being yourself. What? How to stop being yourself. Most of the time people are telling you, you just be yourself, just be yourself. But what is the self of you? Because nobody ever gave you any directions and they never told you anything of how do you be who you say that you are. So I know that in the beginning of this year, in January, people started making New Year's resolutions. How many of you made New Year's resolutions? This year, I'm not going to stop smoking. This year, I'm going to stop drinking. This year, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to go work out. All of those things that I just named are wonderful things. They're wonderful goals to have. But how many of us know how to keep ourselves in alignment with what it is that we said we want to do? You know you need to lose some weight. Even if it's 5, 10 pounds, you know you need to lose some weight. But there's no excitement about going to the gym and working out and doing that. There's no excitement if you're a smoker to deprive yourself of inhaling that cigarette or the marijuana or the alcohol, whatever it is that you do, or the meat or the food, whatever. It's hard for us to deprive ourselves of those things that we say that we want to change within ourselves. So we have to first learn about the mechanism in which we are encased in. A lot of times people will say that the holy temple is our body, because what's inside of this body is a living spirit. There's a spirit that's contained in this body, and when it's time for this body to disengage from that spirit, the body will drop away and the spirit goes on to another level. We can all agree with that. But now while we're in this body, there are certain things that we want. We want certain things to come to us. We want to have certain things. We want to be a certain way. Make yourself comfortable. For real. So there's certain things that you want to do to change whatever's going on in your body. So usually these things that we want to change are what we may call habits. Maybe habits that we want to break. So what is the dynamics of a habit, or the definition of a habit? Somebody give me it. What is it?
Habitual patterns.
Habitual patterns. So this is something that we do over and over and over and over again. But now we're saying, I want to do something different. I want to get a different result because I don't want to keep smoking. I want to keep drinking. I want to keep getting weight. I want to start losing these things. So there has to be something, a dynamic that goes on in each one of us to change that habit. So where do you think that dynamic goes? What happens?
When you renegotiate the contract.
Okay, that's a good one. We're going to renegotiate the contract. But where is the contract that we have created within inside of our beingness? Where does that start? A lot of times people say, well, we got to think better thoughts. And that's a good start. You do. You have to start thinking better thoughts. But then what? What happens after I start thinking better thoughts? The thought is there. That's not going to make me stop smoking cigarettes or drinking the alcohol or eating the food or going to the gym.
Well, I know it's cliche, but have a paradigm shift. So that shifts in what you think. Maybe it's like, oh, it's bad to, you working out, it's sweat, but see it as time you give it to yourself, because that's more years of living or longevity.
That's a wonderful thought. Choose the word paradigm shift. That sounds good. I love that word. I really do. I mean, I'm making fun, but I really do love that word. Yeah, you have to make a paradigm shift. But we're talking about the apparatus of this body and how do I make this mind you? Or in your case, make you mind yourself. Yes.
Once you renegotiate the contract, when you renegotiate the contract, that means you go back to the root of the habit. You decide at that point whether or not it's in your best interest or not. Okay. Because when you accepted the bad habit, you was immature and you didn't know no better.
Okay.
So now you're going back and say, okay, but this is not working for me anymore. Then you make a declaration of what you want to do because you want something to work to support your intent.
Okay, good. Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. You've been studying something, girl. Okay, so we want to renegotiate the contract, put out our intent on this. Okay, all of that is being done up here in the brain. All of those things are in the brain. So what's going to make me do this?
You will.
Okay, I will. So we're going to use our will to make me do this, but in the making of me doing this thing that I say that I'm going to have to do, I got to get the heart involved. So anything that you say that you want, whether it is that you say that you want to stop smoking cigarettes, delete smoking, whatever, the heart, the feeling has to be involved. So I have to have the thought, I have to have the feeling that meets that thought, so that in the manifestation, it's here, it's done. Now there has to be some feeling behind it. So that means I have to get excited about it, because that's going to generate that energy to make me do the thing that I say that I'm going to do. Just having the thoughts are not sufficient enough. So we have to engage our feelings. So that means when I get up and go, oh, yes, I'm going to the gym. Hey, I want to do this. This is going to be great. This is going to be fun. You got to get excited about it. And then you say, I'll do it tomorrow. Or you go to the party and everybody's smoking their cigarettes and you say, well, you know, I'm not going to have a cigarette. And you start smelling that smoke and you say, you know, just one. This is the last one. Can I have a cigarette? This is the last drink. Can I have a drink? And we keep doing that. What we have to do is to change the groove. We have to change our groove. You heard that thing, in your groove that? So there is in the human brain, you can get the word for it. In the human brain, there is nerve cells. And from these nerve cells are what we call dendrites. I am not a great drawer. Let's see if this will. Yes! Love that. So in the brain, we have a nerve cell. And it sort of looks like and this is the nucleus of it. So this is a nerve. So say that this is the drink. Groove, right? And we keep doing that over to this pattern of the nerve cell. So that's a well-worn path between, because this has a nucleus too. So that's a well-worn path. So in order for me to say that I'm no longer going to be doing the drinking, I have to change this. So that's something that's physically going on in your brain that you now have to change, because you do it automatically. Whatever your habit is, whether it's the overeating, the smoking, the drinking, that's a habit. You do it all. You don't even think about it so much. Okay? So we have to break this. So how do we do that?
For me, I've done it. I wrote for 27 days, 54 times a day, what it is I want to change with clarity and purpose. And usually by the 15th day, whatever the habit is, it's falling away.
Okay. Scientist says it takes us 21 days to change any habit that we say that we want to stop. But this little thing here in the brain can't get in there, can't touch it, so it's something that I have to do. So now, when I am trying to break this habit, I have to send this a new thought here. So as this ceases, and I keep making this one stronger, 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 and it's no longer going here, this one starts to diminish until it's no longer there. And this is what we have to do with inside of our own thinking, our own mind, when we are trying to create a new habit. You have to create a new segue for that thought, that idea to travel. Then once we do that, we have to feel it. We have to be the change that we say that we want. So when you say that you're going to stop smoking, you have to actually feel like a non-smoker. What does that feel like? I know a lot of people say that they want money. I want to be a millionaire. And they live in the ghetto. They ain't even got a car yet. So you have to be able to evoke that feeling of being wealthy, financially secure. What does that feel like? So you're going to be carrying yourself in a certain fashion. You're going to be carrying yourself in a certain way to feel that feeling. Because when you are feeling that feeling, you are sending out that energy into the cosmos, as you want to say, the divine mind, the dynamic energy field that they call that's around us. Because even when she was doing the healing, you didn't see the energy passing, but there was a dynamic that was going on in between us. There's a dynamic that goes on between us, even when somebody is angry. If somebody came into this room and they were angry, you would be able to feel that anger. That's what we're talking about. That feeling is what you're going to have to change within inside of yourself. So now you say that you want to have money, so you're going to have to generate the feeling of being wealthy. What does that feel like? A wealthy person would never say, I can't go to Whole Foods, I can't afford that. But I hear people say this, but they say that they want to be wealthy. That's not a wealthy thought. I hope you're getting the drift of this. If you want a new car, it would be good to go out to the car dealership. And if you can't imagine in your brain something that you want, to image it, go and sit in a car so you get the new smell in your nostril. So now, this is what a new car smells. And I test drive it. This is what a car feels like. And there is a feeling and an emotion that comes over you when you're riding that new car. So then when you go home and you start to do your imagining, you can imagine exactly what it feels like. When I tell you guys that ye are gods, yes, you are. But nobody ever told you, well, how do I work this mechanism? How do I make this really work for me? Sitting on your knees praying is not sufficient. It's a wonderful, excellent start, because that's you talking the words out into the universe. But you have to keep that up constantly and all the time, speaking those words that you want to bring to manifestation to you. The universe only says yes to you, whatever it is that you want. I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm too big, I'm too black, I'm too fat, I'm too. The universe just says, yes, here's some more food. Yes, here's another cigarette. Yes, here's some whatever. So if you're a God, that means that you have to take full responsibility of every word, action, and deed. And thought, thank you. Word, action, thought, and deed. But a lot of us aren't doing that. There's certain things that we don't want to do. We don't want to hear about it. I don't know, no. If you did it, own it. Own it, forgive yourself, because that's where you were in consciousness at the time that you did the thing that you did. You knew not what you do. And many of us are just like that. The other thing, turn the TV off. The TV really takes your imagination away from you, because it shows you everything. So somebody tells you, okay, we're going to have a guided meditation. You close your eyes and you say, I don't see anything. It's dark in here. You go so far into the darkness, you will get into the light. You go so far into the light, you will eventually get into the darkness, because there are no what we say opposites here because of the plane that we are living on. You know, there's up and there's down because there's gravity. But the real truth of the matter is that it's all one and the same. There's no bad, there's no good. It's only what you think that it should be. Because the very thing that you think is a bad thing that happens to you was the thing that you needed to know. You needed to experience it that way. If you broke a leg, then you were so hard-headed that the universe was giving you information, telling you to change your ways, and you kept saying, no, I don't need to. So now you got to break a part of you to slow down and sit down and think about what it is that you should be doing in the first place. The universe always gives you what it is that you want. Not what you're saying out of, thinking in my brain, but what I am being. What I am being. Because that's the energy that radiates from around, our bodies. They call it the aura. And that energy that's radiating out, what are you feeling? What are you getting from that person? A person can come in, they look wonderful and happy and smiling. He said, you don't feel good, do you? Because they're being sick. You feel the sickness or the dis-ease or the distrust or whatever it is that they are being. There's one interesting thing. We can always lie to ourselves, but your body will never lie. It's going to tell you the truth. Now, you may not listen to it. Oh, that's just a little gas or whatever. All the little excuses that we give ourselves when we know that we really should be doing something about that thing that we are experiencing. But your body will never lie to you. You'll ignore it. You won't listen to it, but it won't lie. You need to know your yes and your no's within your own body. When you ask yourself, should I go to this party? Just pause a while. Pause a while and see what your body, what it feels like. You may get the hair on your arm may stand up. You may get an eye twitching. Your stomach may growl. You may get a twitch in your shoulder. Anything. For you, every one of us, there are different signals. Every one of us has a different signal. But you have to understand, well, what is my signal? What is my no signal? Men, women, we meet each other, don't know each other, but I kind of like them because I'm liking the outside of the person. I'm seeing the outside, and that's what we're attracted first, is to the outside. Then you start talking. Well, I didn't like that, but get quiet with yourself and say, is this the right person for me to establish a long-term relationship with? We usually don't. We usually start talking to people, we start feeling good. They start touching you, you start touching them. That always feels good. Everybody likes to be touched and caressed and feeling good. Next thing you know, you're in the bed. You don't know anything about this person. You don't know how many people you are sleeping with. Then the baby comes. Oh man, I didn't want that to happen. Why are you doing that? That's what happens. Babies come when you're having sex unless you've done something to prevent it.
Well,
I'm just saying. So we have to start looking at the things that we are doing and that we say that we want, and the things that we are creating in our lives. And that relationship piece is a very, yes, it's a very, very critical, profound piece. Because as I stand before you, if you can imagine, I just draw it. It's always easier to show you something, for you to hear it, and then for you to see it, And I can't go very well, but you'll get the man, woman, emanating from us when we kiss, when we change bodily fluids. There are etheric webs that connect us. And you don't see them, but they're there. That's that emotional thing that you're feeling with that guy. And once he has deposited his sperm into the female, she's connected. She usually gets connected more faster than the male because the male says, well, it's just sex. And that's how they look at it, it's just sex. And they got the prize on it, it's just sex. But now she's connected to him. He tells her, it's just sex, I gotta move on. It wasn't that much, it didn't mean that much to me. When he pulls away, those strings that have been created, they fall down to the ground like that. If he pulls away fast, they jerk. She starts etherically bleeding for that guy. She's longing for him. She wants to be with him. She may even physically have heart pains. She can't eat. She can't sleep. She's going through all of these things. But this is what's really happening on the etheric level. So every time you are connecting to someone and you're giving your emotions to them and they to you, and it doesn't mean anything to you, when you tear away from that person, that's what they're doing. So they etherically bleed. Sometimes they bleed out so badly, I don't have nothing to do with men no more. They become bitter. Or the man can become bitter. It can affect either one. But these are the things that we do to one another, and we know not that that is what we're doing. Now, some people can feel that those, webs and feel a little bit better about themselves, and they move on. They try it again. They've gotten therapy, got some help to feel a little bit better about themselves. Do it again. It happens again. Now they're really upset. But I want to be with somebody. And women are always telling me this. But I want to be married. I want a husband. Why? Do you know what the dictionary says that a wife is? A female servant. That's what you're asking for. So we don't even understand the definition of the words that we're using and why we want to do that. Now, I'm not saying that, not to be married, that's not a good thing, because when you have found that person who really loves you with all of your flaws, no matter what those may be, and they still love you and you love them, that's a beautiful thing. That's one of the best ways to reach your higher divine true self, because there's a give and take. There's this dynamic flow between the two of us. It's just like the sea. The sea has to go out and it comes in. We breathe in, we breathe out. It's a rhythm of the universe. But to really find that rhythm, we have to get in rhythm with ourselves first. When I'm in rhythm with myself, then I know what it is I am giving out. So that my sufficient partner can read the information that I am putting out, and they will approach me. If I'm putting out something that I've seen on TV or something that another culture has told me that I should be like, then I'll be putting out a miscommunication. So I get something that comes to me and I'm saying, why am I always getting these knuckleheads? Because you're sending out the knucklehead vibration. But we don't realize that this is what we're doing. This is why it is always wise for a woman to spend time with herself and a man, to know thyself, to understand the rhythm and the flows that flows within you. Who am I? Who am I being? We've got to start thinking, and when we start thinking smarter. And we have to get back into understanding the unseen. Because they tell you that oh, that's voodoo, that's spooky, you don't want to do that. They lie. And they lie because if I tell you the lie, you beautiful melanated beings, then I can take your information and use it for myself. Because I'll spook you out. I'll make you think that you need to put on sunscreen to go out in the sun, to block it. You are melanated, you are sun people, you need the sun. Now we're not saying go out and lay out in it all day long and cook, like some people like to do. But you do need the sun. That's natural vitamin D. And they're saying that there's a high rate of vitamin deficiency among us melanated people. Why is that? Because somebody told you to block the sun from your face. There is a conspiracy going on, whether you know it or not, or whether you agree with it or not. We don't want you around, is what they are actually telling you. It is a sport for some men to shoot melanated men. It's a sport. It's fun. I wonder what it feels like to kill me one. You're going to get off. And it's been proven time and time and time again. So we have to start looking at what is being done. And when people say that we really want to help, do you really? Is help really coming? Yes, sister. Go and pray. Pray to Jesus. We're going to wait on the Lord.
Amen.
Amen. I know my mother was probably the best person to pray. That woman can pray up anything. And I know that all of these mega churches that we have around here, they pray. They are praying up something, I don't know what, because it looks like they would pray up a net around these knuckleheads that are trying to kill these men, and that we can make really an effectual change within our society. So we have to start listening to the talking heads on TV and them telling us what it is that we should be, when we have to start sitting and getting quiet within ourselves and knowing who we are. Understanding this beautiful, wonderful, holy temple that you reside in. And understand the mechanisms in it and how and what it needs. You are an organic being. And as an organic being, you should be eating organic foods. You should. You should be eating foods that contain seeds, the nucleus of the product of whatever it is. But what do? They're taking your seeds out. It's okay for certain people to eat that because they're kind of a man. And if it ain't so, why do they always make that definition? You know, when they went to the moon, there's 2 steps for mankind, one step for humankind. You gotta listen because they gotta tell you the truth, but your ears have to be open so that you can take in what it is that you need. Every satellite in space, every satellite radio has melanin in it. Why? It is a receptor of energy. This is what they want. Your organs is what they want. Now I tell you all those things because a lot of times, you know, we just want to be, we just want to be so holy. And we're no good to the earth plane because this is where we reside. So I have to have my feet firmly here on the ground while my head and my heart is expanded to the heavens. And I can receive the information which I need to navigate the waters here. Because if we're not doing anything. We're just bumping around on this planet. We are not making this planet a better place for all of humankind. If you believe in reincarnation and you say there are some people who can die and they can come back into this body, if they die and they come back into a melanated body, then I want their experience to be a better experience. There are many, different thoughts or rules, maybe I should always just stay positive and never look at the negative. And that's good too. It really is. When I see a black guy die, well, I can look at it and say, he's going on to bigger and better things. Doesn't have to worry about the world anymore. But what about the pain that his mother is suffering, that she's emanating in the world, and the injustice that the rest of us see, and then we emanate it out into the world? something has to be done with what it is that we're doing with our thoughts, our actions, our beingness. And only we can do that by understanding who you are as that divine being. Because I truly believe that one person can make the change. But if I got 5 and we're all beaming that same one positive thought, and we're all feeling enthusiastically happy about that one thought, we got a hand. We can do something. We can make things move. And then knowing who you are, knowing that the melanin in your skin is a receptor of energy, that when you sit down to meditate, the universe is meditating on you. The universe is looking and saying, oh, wow, Siobhan's here today. Siobhan is being quiet. And when she's quiet, she's being receptive. Just like if you ever see a pond of water and it's just very, very quiet, and you throw a petal in it and it starts rippling effect. Well, when you are meditating and the universe sees that and that connection, you start rippling too. You emanate a color. It is often called your aura. So when that color is being vibrated out into this energetic field that we live in, you're able to pull in what it is that you want, because now you are being the thing that you say that you are. See, this is how it works. But when we are not, when we are not being who we say that we are, we'll get anything. And we'll accept anything. But when you walk in your authority and you know who you are as a divine being, certain things just don't happen to you anymore. Because first of all, you've made that connection with the universe. If you've told the universe that you're going to meditate every day at 6 o'clock, keep that appointment. Because the universe is waiting for you. As above, so below means that we are the hands and the feet of this universe. So as it's downloading its wonderful thoughts into you and you are emanating that out into the world, then the universe is happy and you're happy. That's a divine connection. And it's here at our crown chakra. And they call that connection between here and the universe the Aksparanta. But if we don't know these things, then we can't navigate these waters and understand how are we to get the things that we say that we want here on this earth plane. A lot of times we say, oh, I'm a child of God. What does that mean? Child of God. What does that mean? That you're a little God? You got one? You got one? You got one?
Yeah, because that's what I use.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that resonates.
Please give them your definition of a child of God, because he does have one, and it's a good one. Yeah. I was really asking somebody who didn't have one. But go ahead.
Yeah, as a child, I possess the same qualities that my parents possess. So my parent is Mother, Father, God. As a child of God, I possess those same qualities. So as I have fun enjoying life as a child, doing the work to develop those qualities at the same time, where it's my work is my play is my work. And one day, those who see me say, you know what, that boy just like his daddy, or just like his mama, a spitting image. So then I am a father of one, as I do the work as a child of God.
Beautiful definition. So even with that definition, for those of us who don't even have our own, I'm sure Ashok wouldn't mind we borrow his.
Hey, it's yours.
Because as we are children of God, and when you think of the parent and the child relationship, as I grow from a child of God to the God or the goddess, then that means I take on more responsibilities. That means I put away my childish things. That means I become a full-fledged God. And some of us can be 45, 50 years old, and we ain't even using our gods. We don't even know nothing about it. We out at the club, having a good time. Because that's all we know. That's all we know. We know nothing truly about the spirit that dwells within inside of your being. How do we use this spirit to effectuate a change in our world? As I truly believe that the greatest gift that you can give God is the continual perfection and evolution of yourself as a divine spark or a divine thought of that Godhead. And that takes work. That takes work. Because there are habits that we have within inside of our being and we think that are good, and they're really not doing us any good. So we have to cut that off from us and create something new. We can't keep doing the same thing and looking for a different result. So we have to say that I'm no longer going to smoke that cigarette and still have that enthusiasm about not smoking the cigarette so that I can create that new groove in my mind. Do you realize that as you do that, as you start thinking, your mind still grows? It changes. That's what we do as a God. You change, you make things happen within you. And once you start getting comfortable with those changes that are happening within you, you can make the changes happen outside too. Because you're owning this, and this is the magic wand. Genie. This is the genie in the bottle. You are the genie in the bottle. But what if we rubbed you right now? What would be that? With all of our imperfections, working on ourselves, because we are those divine people. And we have to take that responsibility of being that divine person, of making ourselves the best self that we can, because we have learned so many habits that don't serve us. They really don't serve us in the long run. Knowing that we need to go out and do some exercise, we should be enthusiastic. And we say, well, why didn't the ancients exercise? Have you ever thought about that? They didn't exercise.
Yes, they did.
They didn't go to the gym to exercise. Okay. Their exercise came within the work that they did each day. They walked. They weren't driving cars, so their bodies were more fit than our bodies are. Their water did not have arsenic in it like ours does. Did you know that? That our water that comes through the faucets can be allowed to have 10% arsenic in it and it's safe for you to drink. Yeah. Arsenic is a poison. WSSC says that you can have 10% of that in your water and it's safe for you to drink. They also say that you can wear plastic on your body and it's safe for your body. Anytime you wear Dacron, polyester, rayon, it's suffocating your skin, which is the largest organ on your body. When you go to McDonald's and you're eating those wonderful double burgers, the cheese, that's really plastic, and they draw little black lines on it to make it look like it's been grilled, you're eating plastic. You are what you eat. And that's what happens to us. And slowly but surely, we're being changed and we're de-evolving. And if you look around, the information that is being given out for us melanated people to understand who we are is slowly being pulled out of the schools and it's being diminished. So you know not who you are. One of the things that they're doing in the school system, and I used to work in the school system, one of the things that they're doing is they're changing the history books. And they're saying that the American Negro was a planter. They're taking that word out, the slave, and saying that they're planters. So it's gonna make it sound like we were in cahoots. We were working with the slave master. The other thing that they're working on is gay history. If we don't say anything, and they have a right to do whatever it is they do, make love to whoever you like, make love. But when we start validating it, and we have to be very careful in what we validate, even in our silence, because you want to be politically correct. But what about your thoughts? For me to stand up here and to say a derogative towards a gay person, I could be arrested. Well, I could in the past, but not now, because I am a true church. And as being a true church, not a 501c3, government can't come in and take nothing. But how many of us know that? Most of us want to get a 501c3. I want to be a nonprofit. I'm like, that's what I want to do. The only thing that means is the government will allow you to do certain things, but every 2 years you got to still report to them. So they still got to control. See, when we're passing laws and when we're doing things, and you look like you're getting this, but you're really getting that, we have to open up our eyes and start seeing, what are we getting? And if you don't understand how your own physical body works, then they can give you anything and you'll accept it and say, yeah, I can do this. I can take that. And yes, you can. Yes, you can. You have a right. This is your choice to take and accept anything that they give you. But when you honestly start understanding what is being done, then you can make the effectual changes. The laws, everything, it's supposed to be we the people run the country. They flipped it on us. Now Congress and the Senate are running us. They're making the decisions for us. But we're supposed to be telling them this is what we want to see. We allow that to happen. So if we allow that to happen, we will allow other things to happen. Because I ain't got time to worry about that. You know, I want my Gucci bag. I want my Louis Vuitton. You know, I gotta get my grip on. Stop being you, whatever that may be, whatever you think that that is. You need to stop it and observe it. Because once you stop and you start observing yourself and you see the things that you do, because it's only the observer who can make the change. I have to see myself doing the wrong thing in the first place to see that that's not what I want to do. That's not what I need. That's not what I want to have. But I have to be able to see it. If I can't see myself, then I'm all right. That's what we usually say. I'm all right. I can do what I want to do. And yes, you can do what you want to do. But if you being you, is it great for us? Is it great for us? And I'm talking about all of mankind. Is it great for us? Because when we talk about the village, in other words, I do this one thing, but when I do that one thing, it has everybody else in mind. It's not a selfish thought. I'm not just doing it to satisfy me. I'm doing it for the village, for all of the people, so that we all benefit from it. That's where we should be striving to move ourselves back to that understanding. But the understanding starts with us, with who we are as a divine person. And how do I navigate in this body, here on this planet, and effectuate the whole cosmology? It's something to think about. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about. But that's all you have is time. And we can choose in how we use our time and what it is that we're thinking when we're thinking. I have a shirt that says, think about what you're going to think about. Because you're putting your attention into that thing that it is that you're doing. I have students who come up here and they say, well, I'm going to get on the path. And I say, okay, when your stuff comes out, oh no, I'm in it. But this stuff always comes out. I don't care what excuse you give me, that is your stuff. And here will assist you with it if you will. You may not. You'll tell me that, well, my mother died, so we gotta do this, or they got cancer, so I gotta go and help them, and I can't do this. When I was in the seminary, we went to the hospital with a girlfriend, she was sick. So we had to have class, so we all went to the hospital and had class. We weren't gonna let it stop us. And that is the type of determination that you need when you put your foot on this path and your stuff starts coming out for you. All of your little nasty things that you do, or you say, or that you're about, or that you're fearful of. And that's the biggest thing, is that fear monster. We're usually afraid, we won't say it, but we're scared out of our freaking wits. And I always tell us, can't go around it, can't go over it, can't go under it, you gotta go through it. Each one of us has to go through it. You got to, or you will be the weak link for us. You will be that weak link. No amount of embarrassment or anything. We need you. We need each one of us. And we need to work together in harmony. If I see that you're stumbling, I'm going to give you my arms. Come on, let's go. Let's do this. That is what this spiritual journey is all about. But if you are fearful and you don't let me know that you're fearful, and I fall and you run, you know what I'm saying? But that's what happens to us. This is what we do. And this is why sometimes we call one another sellouts. Because they want the money, like Brother Adam.
Well,
and I'm not lying. I'm not, you know, so, oh, we need to be aware. We need to be able to see a thing and to see it righteously. Because Brother Al knows what's happening. So why isn't he sitting? He's sitting at the table. Why isn't he giving some assistance? He's, oh, let me go out. I'll calm him down.
Jesse know too.
Jesse know too. But we ain't seen too much of Jesse.
Well,
after he had that baby. Well, we need to pay attention, and we really need to see what is going on. But first, we have to see what's going on within inside of ourselves and what it is that we are about. What do I stand for? What is my strength? What is my weakness? And whatever my weakness is, then I have to strengthen that. Really, I have to love it. I have to love my weakness. But even in knowing how to use that weakness, because the Father, the universe would not have given it to me if I didn't need it. Either I was frightened as a child and I let that stop me, you know, so every time I see a certain movie, I run away. You understand what I'm saying? Let me give you one of my own examples. I didn't like to see blood. Blood frightened me, and the reason why it frightened me is because to me, blood is life. So if I went to the movies and I saw one of those, you know, and the blood is popping up all over it and people are getting excited about it, and I'm like, oh, I would physically be getting sick. And I'd have to go to the bathroom and get water and kind of, you know, I felt drained, I felt tired. So I said, I got to get over this. I got to find out what's the deal with this about me, that when I see blood like that on a movie, that it would just drain me some. I went to a psychic. She told me, she said, your brother died in another life like that, you know, a lot of blood being lost. And you're still carrying that trauma with you. And then she told me that it was like, tweet. Once you know, it's done. I had to go through it. I had to experience it and find out the root of what it was that was causing me to be just really weak. As if I had been laying, you know, if you lay out in the sun sometimes a long time and you get tired of a week. Physically in my body. From a movie. Come on. But what I'm saying is, I'm giving you that example. We all have some type of fear within inside of us, some type of insecurity inside of us, some type of weakness. You have to first be able to see that you have it before you can do anything about it. You have to recognize it and say, yeah, that's me. That's what I do. Then once you say that that's what I do, then you can get the proper assistance that you need. But if you stay there and you say to yourself, well, nobody's going to know this about me, and I'm going to just keep this to myself, keep it under, and all the while, you're holding it, and you see me, we're holding it down, and you don't think anybody see you, and it's popped out over there, it's popped out over there, it's popped out over there, because we see. We see you. We may not ever say anything to you about it, but we see you, and we know. Because you cannot hide from me. You can't hide from your fellow people. You cannot. No matter how much you think that you can, you cannot. Because you are me and I am you. I see how you may cringe. I see the things that you do that you think that I'm not seeing. Because remember, my peripheral vision, and I see it from the top to the bottom, and I may not ever have to move my eyes to see it. Who's talking to who's doing what, who did whatever. Now, that's just the physical eyes. When we understand who we are on the spiritual and physical level, we become awesome beings. Very awesome, powerful beings. Sometimes you can just touch a person. And I used to love to do this in school. I would see a teacher and I would just touch her and rub her sometimes. She said, oh, how'd you know? It feels so good. They just, I'm like, all right, okay. But you can see the pain in them. You can see what it is that they're going through. And that's a gift. So I share the gift. You give it graciously. And this is what we have to do for one another, but we have to be clear in who we are. Because wherever your weakness is, it is the weakness in our chain. And that's not a bad thing, because you are the example for us to assist you, to help. Because when I help you, you help me. So it's still a good thing. There's no shame in it. No blame. It is what it is. But if we're going to do something, then we have to know completely, fully, exactly what it is we're working with. And that sometimes is scary. But we love you. We love you. People are always correcting me. You're trying. Okay. Correct me in my reading and everything. So what? Yeah, sometimes you get tired of it. You know, they tell me, oh, you're strong, you can take it. Yeah, but I'm tired of you whipping my hands. But we love one another. And we love you. So stop being yourself. Start being that divine, true self of who you are. And let the true divine self express itself. Yeah. So we're going to talk about any announcements that we have.
No questions.
Questions, yes, please. Questions, concerns, we want to hear.
But I'll just remind her.
Oh. So we know how the body works and everything, and you feel more comfortable about it, you feel comfortable about the healing that we did. No questions. Okay, we have.
Well, I'll ask a question.
Okay.
So, and maybe this is the topic, but in the past, I heard you say like a person is, what you said, like sensitive, not sensitive, but sympathetic. where you feel another person's physical pain. So how do you deal with that type of situation?
What, feeling their pain?
Yeah, like if you physically have the feeling that's the same feeling of that person.
You have to learn discernment. You have to start disengaging. Sometimes we're so sensitive that we're feeling everything. And that happened to be one of my challenges when I started getting into my spiritual walk. I was on an airplane one time and my father-in-law was in Florida and he was having a stroke. And I was sitting on the airplane and I was going, I'm going, you know, so it kind of frightened me. My heart was beating. Couldn't say anything because the plane was going to take off. And I'm just, you know, I'm looking at the door. So it started to, you know, let go, and my hands straightened out, my mouth straightened out, and I was okay. It was a brief thing, but it was there. When I got to my destination, my ex called me. He said my father just had a stroke, so I was feeling it. So my brother, still to this day, I guess that's my brother, we're still connected. I can feel his pains and I'll take it for him and move on with it. But what I had to do for other people, like say I know Rose and she had pain and I could feel her, I had to start disassociating. The minute I felt it, I knew it was her, identify it and put away and then call and maybe give her energy as opposed to me taking the pain. Give her energy because it's her right to have pain if that's the way that she's going to experience something for her highest good. Because some of us are hard-headed, so we need to have that pain. You know, we need to have a painful experience. So allow her to have it, disconnect, and then give her light. And it's something to, you know, have that much love for people. And that's what I had to realize, that I had that much love because I'm a giver and not let people take advantage of me. You know, it's a shame. Well, sometimes when I write my name, which is Dorita, and I always have to change it in the computer because if I don't, it'll say doormat. Because I am a giver. So even the computer, I said, wow, you are smart. So, you know, you change it in your, the app, you know, for you. And so it knows now that I'm just writing my name. But previous, and I would see that and I would go, wow, you know? So yeah. But we teach all of that up here at the Institute. You know, I go, we have to know, and you have to ask the questions. You have to let us know what it is that you're experiencing, because each one of us come in with different gifts, different qualities. I also smell spirits, you know, when they're around. It's usually some fragrance that they were about when they were here, because they want to make, that's their identification, you know? And they identify themselves in a variety of ways. So it's always different. So you have to be flexible, and I have to know me. I have to know the quality of my thoughts. So that if somebody's throwing one of their thoughts to me, I'm like, that ain't mine. Somebody's doing something. So you have to be mindful. So you have to have control of yourself. And a lot of times if you're fearful, you don't have control. You're really out of control, but you think that you're controlling it, but you're hold it down. Nobody see you know. This is what we do. You hold it down, it's just bloop, 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 all over you. Sometimes it stinks too. You've heard them on TV, sometimes they say, I can smell the fear on you. It's true. Right, that's the word. You stink of fear, and that's true. That's true. Very true. Any other questions, concerns? Okay. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have meditation right here at 12 noon. High noon. We ask that you get here, meditate with us, and go back to work or go back doing whatever it is. If you can't physically make it here with us, then at least start tuning in at high noon to feel that vibration. And Brother Shep sends out a reminder And it's not a thought of the day, but it's an intention, correct? He sends out the intention of what the meditation is going to be about. We do have a one-on-one class that has started up here on February 2nd. It'll run for 16 weeks. It is a 3-year commitment. So when you put your foot on that path, think about it long and hard. Do I really want to do this work? And it is a wonderful work. Just to work on your own spiritual growth is a beautiful, beautiful thing. We have our silent retreat coming, and the dates are May
22nd through the 24th.
Right. So that's where we're going to be doing a retreat. We have a cabin for the men, we have a cabin for the women, and we're going to do everything together, but in the silence. We cannot talk. So I know some people who are going to have some problems because they love to talk. But it's a wonderful experience, you know, to be in the silence and go out in nature and row a boat with somebody. You know, you're trying to tell them, you go left, I'm going right. No talking, and it's just beautiful to have your all of our meals, and then there are activities that we will be doing together. Male and female will be doing those activities together, but all in the silence. I have attended other silence retreats, and I have seen people just sit there and cry with one another. You know, so a lot of things can transpire in the silence. So that's in May. We're going to be doing a cleanse this year. So Rose and I have put all these different little packages of teas together. So next Sunday they'll be available for you to take. It's a 2-week fast where you only drink the teas. We'll have American Mandrake is one of them, which is really, this is the only time of year that you can actually ingest that particular tea. Yeah. So it's going to be a fast. If you do get hungry, you can eat a little break. But all the directions will be contained in the bag, and you'll have all the teas that you need in that bag. Okay.
You say if you get hungry, you eat a grape.
Yeah, you can eat it. Yeah. Yes. I didn't think anybody caught that one, but yes. No, well, you can eat grapes. You know.
Yeah, not just one.
That would be the ideal. One grape, just to satiate yourself, you know. What else do we have? Oh, the Emerald Ball. This will be our 2nd annual Emerald Ball. That will be in September this year. But that's a little ways down the road, just like we had. Then we have First Fridays. Every first Friday of the month, it's for women. For woman to know thyself. Because when we know ourselves, we can rule the world. We can rule the world. But when we aren't knowing, we aren't understanding who we are. And we had Dr. Watson here this Friday. If you weren't here, you really, really missed a good one. Because he gave us information from snoring. We always think that that's a breath, breathing thing. It's indigestion. And the epiglottis, he says, go because when you lay down, it's trying to escape. I mean, it was wonderful. I learned so much.
You record them?
We did not record that. We did not record it. And I told him, I said, we have to do it again because the information was really, really awesome. And women, we have to get in rhythm with this universe. We thrive on the 28th cycle of this universe. And if we're not in cycle with that rhythm and flow, Mother Goddess is falling. Mother Goddess is falling. We got to pick ourselves up, step up the ante. And we can say that, men are at fault. I say the woman is at fault because she gives birth. No man can come through the gates except through a woman. And you have to understand what you're opening yourself up to at all times. And if you're not knowing, we in big trouble. We in big trouble. And there's a lot of things that we need to know, as women when we're having sex with men. That's all I'm going to say about that. We're in big, big trouble. Big trouble. Because you're absorbing all of that stuff that he's bringing there with you and your stuff too. And then you're putting the emotions to it. You're going out here in the world, doing your due, vibrating into the universe again, putting that out.
Just remember one basic thing for all women. Whenever you get into a situation and it does not work for you, and you back away from all men, don't go 3 months later right back looking for the exact same type of situation. Because I have 5 sisters. I see them do it all the time. I had to go out and beat up a bunch of different people over the years, including one guy that had the nerve to tell my sister that his son had died, took her out to the graveyard, and then told her that he didn't have a son, but that his name was Andrew the Demon, and that she had to do whatever he told her to do, or she was going to freaking some kind of crap. And I went by and knocked on his door, punched him in the face, and explained to him that they call me Lucifer. And the next time you want to be a demon, I'm coming back. I said, if you ever go near my sister again. And then I said, look, no more tall, red-boned men. Go find you. That's what she was. And she get the same exact type stereotype every single time. And every single time they beat her behind and, you know.
Because she's in that group.
She's in that group.
Same.
You have to
change.
If it's not the right group for you, and you see it's not, you should make a tweak before you go back again.
But a lot of us are so insecure within inside of ourselves that we don't know how to make that change. And that's why I'm saying that when a woman understands who she is, she's going to educate her daughters and her sons, so that the daughters will know how to make right decisions and the sons will know how to protect the females. So, yeah, so now I'm going to ask that if there's, if anybody can give, time.
Yeah, we do have an event on the 21st of this month.
Yes, thank you.
February 21st, part of the I Am It outreach project. We're going to be at the library on Alabama Avenue from 12 to 2, giving a presentation on who am I, who we are, the indigenous people, what we call Black, and the reality in which we live in, meaning the so-called government and what's actually taking place, the reason why, we're in this situation. So we're going to be sharing information in the community, from our perspective, who we are, what's happening. As well as beginning in March, the Collective Health Initiative begins activities once again on March 8th, which is a Sunday, from 4 to 6, going to be a dynamic wellness with a holistic HMO roundtable, where there's various practitioners from different modalities, from esoteric healing to nutrition to Reiki, various modalities. We'll be talking about one particular issue and giving their perspective from their experience, their knowledge on how, tips, tools, suggestions, how you can alleviate, reverse, and eradicate certain diseases. As well as towards the end of March, probably on the 20th, we'll be starting being our Chi Social, which is a monthly event where we just get together and have a good time. What we call it family reunion meets conscious house party type of event. So, just stay tuned and, let other people know as well that the event's going on, so we continue to do what we're doing, being a light in our community. That's it. I'll probably next week. Oh, this 14th? Yeah, there's oh, yeah, that should make it enough. Oh, and Tuere is going to be having a event next Saturday. Yeah, it's like from 3 to 4:30. I don't have the details pulled up right here, but I did know that date. It's both the 14th.
Yeah.
He's having an event, so check with them or check your emails. So we just have emails with all these events on them. So
It's at Mama Sita's.
Yes, I think it is at Mama Sita's on the 14th.